Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking, and today I'm here to discuss the Venus ingression into the sign of Virgo. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to make a separate video about this, because Venus, technically speaking, is meant to be in the sign of fall in Virgo, which of course it's true, and we tend to be looking at Venus, oh, poor Venus has got a very poor dignity in the sign of Virgo, and it's probably very challenging. But I do believe there are so many good things about having Venus in the sign of Virgo as well. So what I would like to do today is that I would like to kind of weigh up the positives and the negatives a little bit and shed a little bit more light onto what Venus in Virgo might mean for you in your natal chart as a transit, and of course, what it might mean on a mundane level as well. So Venus is maximum 2 signs away from the sun, and she basically never travels more than 48 degrees away from him. So any changes of signs of planets are very prominent as it kind of marks a new territory for the planet. So from a mundane perspective, if you look at what Venus means, right, it talks about money, it talks about entertainment, as well as the marriage possibilities. So all those type of energies from a mundane level will take a new turn for the next 3-4 weeks. Now, this ingression is going to happen on the 22nd of July. And the very first aspect Venus will be making is going to be an opposition to Jupiter. But we're going to speak about that a little bit later on. So as I mentioned, Venus is meant to be in its 4th position in Virgo, or even they call it as depression in traditional astrology. So we definitely will be looking at today a lot more in depth what it might mean for us. So the purpose of this video is to give you clarity over Venus in Virgo and why or why not is a good or a bad position. And we're going to be looking at some type of remedies as well, how to utilize the Venusian energy. So if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and press like and share the video with others. And if you would like to have a reading either with Sweti or myself, then you will be able to find the link in the comment box, in the description box below. So first of all, Virgo is a Mercury ruled sign, where Mercury is actually exalted and also in rulership too. So Venus will depend a lot on Mercury's position, both in the natal chart, if you want to be gaining some clarity about how Venus functions in your natal chart, and also by transit as well. So this is what we call as dispositorship in astrology. So firstly, let's just discuss what Venus wants, because Venus or any type of planet is kind of like the actor, and they're going to be acting according to the sign. So the sign shows how, and the house position is going to be the area of life. So Venus as an actor wants to form a relationship. It has got that desire and urge to connect with others, to unite things or to unite people. But it does it a little bit differently than Mercury would do, because Mercury is kind of like the agent who is kind of like handing over a phone number to someone else. Oh, that's the best carpenter ever. Oh, this is my hairdresser. She does a fantastic job. But Venus wants to unite people through some artistic abilities, for instance, or by creating something beautiful, which is going to be attracting others. So, of course, Venus is the way we attract things into our life. Now, Venus wants to enjoy every single moment of given by life. It wants to attract things. It wants to attract love, especially, and it wants to beautify things. So to harmonize things in life. It is very interested in shapes, forms, and colors. So that's why Venus rules something to do with the fashion. Of course, Venus also represents something to do with our spending habit, as well as the money and the approach we have got to financial situation. Now, when we look at what Virgo is, right? Virgo is actually a feminine earth sign. And one of the primary meanings of Virgo is the lifestyle. Now, Virgo wants to stay skinny, for instance, or it wants to be in a good shape. It's very cautious about their eating habits, their health profile. And let's be honest, Venus is more about the sweets. It's more about the indulgence. So one of the meanings of having Venus in a Virgo, that we become a lot more analytical about what we eat, what we enjoy, and we kind of want to put a stop to it. So you guys who have been following me for a while, you know that I love symbol on cards. On the symbol on cards, the Mercury and Venus card would be having two beautiful women. One of them is dressed up like in kind of like an evening gown type, and the other one is also an evening gown, but that's very simple. So basically, that's talking about the kind of like a debate between my beautiful self as well as something to do with, let's say, the less beautiful part of me. So how I will be harmonizing those two qualities could be one of the meanings of having Venus in the sign of Virgo. So, of course, think about it. If Virgo wants to watch out for their eating habits and lifestyle, and Venus wants to look beautiful and it wants to attract love. So another meaning is very possible that people are going to be kind of hitting the gym and they want to work out because they want to start a new regime, a routine when it comes to their exercising habits. And it's all because we just want to be looking better. Virgo, I'll give you an example. So I think I mentioned this in another video previously, but related to Mars in the sign of Leo, because that kind of has got a similar impact. So man who wants to be kind of shining the best shape of their life type of meaning. Now, this Venus in Virgo is more actually about having having the women do something similar as well, but typically because they want to feel healthier. Now, talking about health, which is very Virgo related, and Venus rules over the skin and the kidneys within the body. So an afflicted Venus can actually indicate kidney and skin irritations as well. Especially skin irritations if Venus has got some hard aspects to Mars or even Uranus or Saturn. And by hard aspect, I talk about oppositions as squares especially. Now, from the kidney perspective, which is actually an organ in charge of relationship departments, Venus in Virgo has got a tendency to get kidney stones, especially if it has got a hard aspect to Saturn. Now, this would be kind of indicating something to do with an element of anger built up within ourselves in regards to relationship. So maybe because I'm not attracting the right people, or because I kind of feel ugly and I feel like I'm kind of never gonna be in a proper relationship. Or because I feel like a servant to my partner, because Virgo is the service industry. And Venus, either what it does is it doesn't enjoy being at service of others, because of course Venus' primary focus is to be admired, to be noticed. So there is this kind of, I tend to call this as an ugly duck syndrome with Venus in Virgo, which means that the self-esteem is somewhere at the rock bottom. This Venus doesn't necessarily believe that they've got their beautiful part of their personality either. So, and of course, it leads to some type of disappointment. Remember that Venus opposite, Virgo opposite sign is Pisces, where Venus is exalted. So this Venus is going to be dreaming about the Prince Charming, but because it's an earth sign, somehow the harsh reality kicks in or hits the person. And of course, this Venus is going to start comparing herself to others. Oh, that person has got a nicer tone of skin, or, stuff like that. So this Venus becomes slightly bit critical towards others and towards themselves as well. It's going down to the nitty-gritty part, and they're ripping themselves apart to the smallest bits. So definitely it's something which you guys need to be paying attention to, not to be too critical towards yourself, because this Venus in Virgo kind of emphasizes that. Now, Virgo is all about cleanliness. So it can again go two ways. Either I'm going to be enjoying cleaning up and I'm going to start showing some type of OCD characteristics, or actually I get frustrated by it. Oh, my husband doesn't help me, my boyfriend is just throwing the socks around and all those type of things, and it's again going to the frustration. Remember that Venus is actually depressed in the sign of Virgo. Now, the depression or fall detriment, in my opinion, it works extremely well under pressure after a certain amount of time. So that's why I say that it could actually go two ways. So Virgo is one of those controlling signs. Oh, going back to that cleanliness. So it's actually a brilliant time from a direct remedy point of view to sort out your wardrobe, for instance. What do I need? What do I not need? Virgo is all about sorting things out to kind of create an order from chaos. Right? So actually, you can beautify things around it. But remember, even though Venus loves beauty, but one of the issues Venus has got in Virgo is that, oh, it's too beautiful to touch. So don't go to the extremes, because Virgo is actually controlling, and we want to be controlling things around us. Virgo is very analytical. So with Venus, which is the planet of love, it is very easy to start scrutinizing our partner or watching their behavior. And we might come to a conclusion that actually we are not necessarily satisfied in the relationship. Or actually we can start looking into the mirror a lot more and analyzing, seeing a mole here, I'm not happy with that, I'm not happy with this one. And then overall, the self-esteem Venus will drop significantly. Now, of course, Venus has got that money aspect to it as well. So it's very possible that we're going to be spending a little bit more time on the internet banking, looking at, oh, how much money we've got, what we spend on, where we can save a little bit of the money. So Venus in Virgo has got a little bit more practical, a little bit of a stingy side to it as well. Remember, Venus is more about spending money. Virgo is all about, oh, let's just be humble. Let's just be organized around the financials. So this Venus is a lot more cautious on what it spends money on. Virgo also rules over work-related matters. So maybe actually you've got the desire to make things more comfortable around your desk. You might want to be sorting out some paperwork. Venus is the negotiation skills we've got. So actually you can become a lot more diplomatic when it comes to communicating with business partners, for instance. Virgo is quite fussy. And when it comes to Venus, it's all about enjoyment and fun. So Venus is very much interested in any type of fun when it comes to just being among others. But then Virgo starts kind of like, no, I don't want to go out with that person. I don't want to do this. So it becomes a little bit more fussy. Virgo also rules over discrimination. So actually, we might be seeing some type of discrimination against women in the social media. That's very possible. Or something to do with body shaming could be another huge topic. Let's not forget that Virgo kind of like is the last month of the summer, right? Even though we are not in a Virgo season yet, so we're just going to be starting that way down the line, actually. Somewhere at the end of August, right? But this could talk about like, you know, what is the chubby fashion and all those type of things might be popping up, and then social media can blow up on that surely. So there's this element of discrimination. Virgo has got this fault-finding type of ability. which is good sometimes, and then which is not so good, right? So when I'm trying to find fault in everyone's action, obviously it is as an element of frustration of what Virgo has because of those OCD skills, really. But also it's very good at spotting some type of patterns, or to actually, let's say, finding errors when it comes to spelling and so forth. Now, but Venus is not necessarily interested in that. Venus is more about the sensuality and the sexuality, right? How we want to be attracting a guy and what we do about it. So we might notice that we spend a lot more time in front of the mirror, getting ready. Or when it comes to the sensuality and the sexuality, we become a little bit more detached because Virgo spends way too much time of getting ready. And don't forget that maybe a guy is going to get bored waiting hours and hours for a woman to get ready. So, but another stuff which I would say that Virgo is all about service to others. And Venus, again, is the fashion and the beauty. So it's very much very possible that a new fashion trend might be popping up. I'm not really following fashion, to be frank, through astrology, but it's very, very possible. But as I mentioned, this Venus can get a little bit frustrated by serving people around them. Now, also this Venus in Virgo has got this Cinderella effect. So I'm sure you remember the story, but we've got the evil stepmom and the evil stepsisters. And then poor Cinderella ends up making all those beautiful dresses for them and so forth. And then she's just being neglected. So even though Venus, even though Virgo has got this cleanliness maniac behavior, but Venus can actually neglect those type of things in favor of others. So we do need to be paying attention to that too. Venus actually bases her decisions on fun and enjoyment. So it buys things with their senses, with her senses. But here Venus becomes a lot more practical, technical, and earthy, grounded. So Venus is usually concerned with love and friendship, but here it approaches that from a mental perspective. So actually, you might even show on a mundane level there is going to be some type of new cooking show coming up on Netflix and all those type of channels, right? Because Virgo is very good at criticizing things, and Venus can actually talk about cakes and sweet things. So maybe it's a new baking show. For instance, I haven't heard about, oh, there is that baking show on Netflix, Nailed It. So I haven't seen a new season for a while. So maybe actually this is the time when it's going to come out. I can imagine something like that. Or maybe Virgo is more about the natural stuff. So like the herbs and all those type of allergies and so forth. So actually watch out for allergy reactions because your skin actually can kind of pop out. But or you will be a lot more kind of paying attention more to the quality of your skin, and you're gonna use a lot more lotion and all those type of things. So you might want to be watching out for that too. Probably we're gonna be watching a lot more what we eat, what we put out into our body. So Virgo is actually something to do with your small intestines or intestines. I hate that word anyway. So so this could actually indicate that it's time to do a body flush through, just to get rid of all the garbage what we've got in our body. So the Venus is the ruler of our desire and sexuality, and Virgo is very dutiful. So, you know, this Venus in Virgo might say, oh, I need a clean sheet before we do actually anything in the bedroom. Or I need to be cooking dinner. I need to be looking after the needs of the kids. And of course, it could bring some type of frustration within your relationship. So you might want to be watching out for that. So, but Venus one of the reasons why I don't necessarily believe that Venus is so bad in the sign of Virgo, because Venus is actually a cold and wet, it has got a cold and wet quality, and Virgo is an earth sign, so it has got a cold and dry quality. So actually there is something there, there is something in common, and that's the coldness. So the solution to Venus in Virgo is to kind of get detached from certain routines in our life and watching out for enjoying some part of our life also. Virgo is actually kind of a maximalist, and Venus is about abundance and enjoyment. So actually this Venus might bring a notch down on that maximalism, but you know, at the same time, in my opinion, Virgo is also a little bit of a minimalist as well, because Virgo can achieve a lot more, but it somehow likes being in the background as well. Like, you know, let's say I have been a PR assistant for 20 years, or I'm the best secretary ever in the world, but I just don't want to be stepping up on the hierarchy ladder, because there is an element of not necessarily comfort zone, probably that's not the right word, but there is this element of I'm better off at the background. So because I just enjoy my job so much. So Virgo is all about efficiency, and Venus is all about pleasure. So there is going to be that clash there. So having fun and attending our duties. And how am I going to bring that into balance? Virgo is a perfectionist, and Venus is kind of your dressing room. So we might notice that every single set of makeup needs to be in a certain position, in a certain corner, and all those type of things, which might be having or coming up. Or I'm just not happy about my skin condition, or I'm not happy with my makeup skills, and I want to be improving on that. Now, Venus in Virgo actually can excel when it comes to nurses, writers, psychologists, yoga teachers, something to do with acupuncture, nutrition, and actually it's quite good as a teacher as well. I believe Venus in Virgo can actually excel in fields of astrology or astronomy also. Something which is science and literature related, but also as an IT expert, as a museum curator, a critic analyst, a system analyst, kind of like a designer. All those type of things actually could work for Venus in Virgo, especially if Venus is related to somehow to your midheaven or the sixth house. But remember that Venus always wants to beautify those things. Now, one of the reasons why I've mentioned these type of jobs, because Venus is the planet of money, so it could indicate that we can start making money from these fields as well, or there is going to be some type of changes around that. So Venus is very much related to financials. So analyzing financial behavior beautifully goes with that. Virgo is very much interested in physics, mathematics, even research, investment related. So Venus in Virgo, well, let's see what's going to happen in the stock market, the investment department. But let's remember, Venus is in depression in the sign of Virgo. And by the way, from a statistic point of view, if you go back, especially the Bitcoin in the last 12 years, Virgo is one of the lowest point of the Bitcoin system. Whenever there is the sun there, or Venus, Mercury, even Mars, something always happens in the stock market, and it usually goes lower. Now, the Virgo Venus is very good at saving money. It's a lot more economic and thrifty. But of course, Venus has got the urges to spend money. So sometimes we can go out of our kind of system, what we've got about how much money we can spend. And then after, Virgo starts feeling guilt about it. So definitely, I would like to mention that. Okay. And then, as I mentioned, Virgo has got this OCD quality to it. So, and because Venus loves beautiful things, so actually Venus would never go into a place where it's kind of dirty, right? So actually, I kind of like Venus in Virgo because it has got that ability to beautify things around it. Virgo always needs to specialize in something, so picking subjects from a vocational perspective. So Venus here could indicate, I mean, Venus actually has got trouble in this department as she likes trying new things. So that's another clash here. Yeah, so it might be something again which we need to be dealing with, but actually it's a brilliant position for stylists. Now, Virgo actually rules over nature, herbs, and animals. So we might end up wanting to spend more time in the nature. Now, in many cases, actually, Venus in Virgo is said that, oh, it's very much about like virginity and purity, and they are a little bit uptight when it comes to sexual matters. I don't necessarily believe that. One of the reasons why I don't believe that is because Virgo is a earth sign, which is all about sensuality. It needs the physical connection to kind of feel kind of like practical love. But what Virgo in Venus can do, that it confuses the task with love. So, oh yeah, my husband is gonna love me if I have got dinner on table every single day. And it becomes somehow a priority. Venus in Virgo in many cases just feels loved when they are working. That's when they feel useful. Or they don't feel valued when they are not doing anything useful. Or in many cases, for some reason, Virgo Venus fears that they are not allowed to be beautiful. So that's where the Cinderella effect comes into the picture. I'd rather help others to become beautiful. The biggest fear of Venus here is that I'm not going to be seen useful. I've seen it so many times when someone has got Venus in Virgo, there is a competition going on with the mother or the siblings, especially if there is a Pluto involvement. Venus in Virgo also has got the tendency to believe that it's never enough what I do. So therefore, Venus here starts overcompensating, creating some endless tasks. And of course, it becomes scary if I am not able to become, good enough. So that's one of the reasons why probably there are some issues when it comes to Venus in Virgo. So it can create some type of intense sexual tensions we're going to have to deal with. But I do believe that Virgo Venus is very sexual and sensual. Now, there is this healing power, healing nature to Venus in Virgo, and probably we can do that by doing something to do with herbs and nature and animals. Maybe it's just hugging a dog and so forth. It's very much about getting in touch with your physical body and looking for targets to be hit with minimum effort, because Venus in Virgo does not want to waste things. So it wants to kind of invest time, money, and effort into a creative project. So it slows Venus down a little bit. Venus becomes more specific here. It wants to be paying attention. And maybe it says that making little changes, for instance, in our appearance, is going to be making a huge difference. So maybe it's just about changing the color of my lipstick, for instance. But something when it comes to your behavior, when it comes to how you look at beauty overall, kind of needs to be changed. So one film which comes to my mind is, it's a film called, I can't remember its title, but it's played by Jennifer Lopez, who is playing a maid in New York. And she has got a son, a very clever son, And where she works, she almost gets promoted, but then she meets this handsome guy, and then she falls in love, and the guy actually asks her out, but she doesn't have nice dress, so she takes one of the guests' beautiful dress, and they go for a dinner, and then they fall in love. Anyway, it turns out that she is only a maid, and it kind of becomes a scandal, but then this rich politician chooses love over his position in the society. So, you know, Venus, which is beauty, and Virgo, which is a maid. So kind of like knowing that, I think Venus in Virgo really much talks about knowing that there is something beautiful within us no matter what. We just kind of need to be finding it. And another symbol on cards, which I would like to mention here, that is also Venus and Mercury related, is there is this huge woman who is building a money tower, and then she is counting her money constantly. And on top of my head, there is also bars on the window. So what happens is that this is all about growth. And she is counting the money instead of realizing that she has put on so much weight, and actually she can spend some of the money on becoming more beautiful if she wanted to. So therefore, this Venus in a Virgo can talk about overcompensation, and it could talk about projecting things onto other. So sometimes Venus chooses the simple things here, but which is still kind of like comfortable. So typically I imagine Venus in Virgo kind of like wearing a bun on top of their head because, oh, you know, I didn't want to wash my hair. So it's a little bit more simplified, but there is this elegance to it. So I kind of like imagine a secretary, you know, who puts on a comfortable, beautiful dress, but the efficiency is a lot more important. So from a transit perspective, you might want to be looking at where the Virgo house cusp is in your chart, and then try to transform these energies into that house. So how you can be a little bit more detail orientated, but bring in some fun into it. So maybe it's about, oh yeah, I want to be painting the room, right? Virgo wants to he wants to attend some type of duties, but how am I going to do that? Maybe I'm going to be dancing while I'm painting the walls. So, you know, so you want to be putting this time of energy into that house position wherever Virgo is in your chart. So this is my Venus in Virgo intake. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. And then if you did so, then press like and visit another video of mine in the near future. Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.